but this is a message I need to tell you. And then maybe like because while we were talking, you just brought up grandma, and I was like, wait, what are you talking about? It just caught me off guard. And she said that, and she was the closest person to me. She raised me from when I was 3 years old until she passed away when I was 7. And I still remember her from time to time, and then all my memories of her are the greatest memories I'll ever forever remember, and will keep, in my mind forever. And so when you said that, I just felt like, wow, chicken skin. When you said grandma right off the bat, I was like, wait, where is this coming from? And it just came out of nowhere. So like I said, thank you so much. That message does pertain to the current life I am having. My son is definitely a rascal, and he just gets to me way harder than my daughter. But, yeah.
I think he's just
trying. Yeah.
It's a phase, and like how, it was maybe something where your grandma is saying that the same kind of love that I gave to you is the kind of love that, that she is pouring out to your son. And so, especially boys, they have a hard time expressing love, especially when they're young. And they go through that phase. And so sometimes they use their rascalness, their coloje, to do things, to acknowledge, And so just take it as a way to just laugh about it. And
I know.
And,
maybe
just
later on. Right now it's kind of hard, and I try to laugh it off, but in me it just still gets to me, because I have to deal with the situation when I have nobody else. But just to know that my grandma is around, it's very comforting, and maybe she's guiding me through and how to deal with emotion, because that's the pure love that I ever felt the first time. It should have been my mom, but it's not. It's my grandma. And then, it's a different form of love. Like I feel like the love is so pure. She was really, I know that she really loved me. For her to like bring me from the States to the Philippines, like grandma will pull their grandchild away just so that they can take care of me. And I know that my mom was also a little bit different. And so that's why, as a mother, she probably expressed her love, showing my mom that, okay, if you can't handle it, then I'll take care of her. And I wish she lived longer, because those were the greatest childhood memories I'll ever have, And I remember, my grandpa may have been so mean, but to have those great memories is what makes me who I am today. I think, she's teaching me something like that. Your kids will have a good childhood memory to continue to show them love as much as I show you. Is I feel like what she's trying to, tell me to, even though she's not.
And sometimes when we do go through life and we feel that nobody can understand us, that's when sometimes you get this call like this and out of the blues, and you never expect something, and that's when it becomes real. When you don't expect something coming out, like, what, where did that come from, left field, but it resonates, and it resonates, and it makes sense. And sometimes it doesn't make sense at that time, and then you put a cushion, and because it's all of a sudden this data, this information is just flowing, like, what happened, like, what, that was like 30 something years ago kind of emotion, and it's always hidden behind our library, I call it, because our memory, it is a huge library. And
it is.
And whether it's now or whether it happened maybe even before we were born, this library of sources in our soul is the one really gives us this, all of a sudden, this matrix of like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, And that's when we open up a new world, or open up a new portal of love that that was always there, but we didn't know how to use these tools in our life. And that's what I teach people. You know, for me, it's like, you know, before it was like all about, you know, like everybody else, everybody needs money and stuff like that. But then there's always a time where, you know, you go through this phase. And when you go through this phase, you know, when what you have is so special. It's not about money. Like, you know, every day you see it on, you know, the social media news about money. But money is it's a necessity, but there's a stronger necessity that's in us, which is finding that happiness. You know, we always trying to look for everyone's, you know, key to happiness, but the real happiness lies within us, because we haven't received a message to make us turn that key.
Yes.
And that's what I work with people, you know, because sometimes when we rely too much on friends and family that is existing in this plane, they don't see the inner architecture of ourself, or the inner architecture of what's going on around us. And so that's when they come to me as an energy fairy, where I just kind of concentrate and meditate. And sometimes, you know, messages comes in strong, and sometimes messages are bits and pieces that I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to say it out loud, because it's that I work on that moment, that time. And
exactly like that medium on Netflix and on YouTube.
You know?
Yeah, he's like, this might not make sense, but eventually when he starts talking more, it starts to make sense for the person that's receiving the message, because only they can understand more so than what the medium is doing. Mm-hmm. And so I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I kind of say, well, I'm just like the Whoopi Goldberg sometimes. It's like, just all right, you can just use me.
But it's just like a message, and then out of nowhere, it's like, why? Like, you know, I told my sister about it, and I questioned, like, why only now? Out of how many years since I had my kids, I did suffer from depression. I didn't really have any help from my side of the family, especially my mom. And then luckily, you know, I had my in-law who had help, but then it just breaks my heart, because my mom watched my niece's son, and I just felt like it was so unfair, you know, that you helped for a little while and you just kind of gave up. I get you're not at the age where you could, but at least, you know, don't say you're guilty. And when I give you an opportunity, you'll say, I don't want. Like, that broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we're fine now, and that's okay. But I just know that if she was here, then I can count on my grandma for sure, hands down. I would have had so much more support. But and I know that for sure, because, you know, the message yesterday, to know that she has my back, it's just wow. Like, I know she was here today, I wouldn't have struggled so much, and that I would have had so much more support than just my in-law, you know, my in-law.
And I think this message is saying that she does have your back, and that she missed talking to you. And I think maybe
that too. I already talked to her.
Yeah, and maybe we can start to exercise and you know, really meditating and practicing, you know. And that's why people's like, meditate, and I'm like, meditate is a cool thing, because you get to talk to sources that really loves you, the sources that really will listen to you, sources that really will come out of the blues, and like, how did that happen? Like, you think like, how did this good luck happen to me? Or how did this thing that I was so questioned about, I have the answer. And that's what happens when you silence yourself. You get to hear this vibration, this energy and this messages that goes to the right direction, and how it can really help you to resolve and resonate to a better understanding. It takes,
yeah, I think that's the thing I need to work on, meditating.
Yeah, and it's so funny because today is meditation. Yeah, today is meditation Monday, and and it makes me feel good that like underneath everybody, we all go through depression or anxiety or things like that, and sometimes when we talk about that, people look at us like, oh, or maybe I shouldn't even say it out loud about my depression or my anxiety, because people now stepping away and not even going forward. But I think that is not the right approach to how people do it with other people, because it only makes them feel worse. And so that's and that's why it's so important to let people understand that there is other people when you go through meditation, that you can speak to the ones that really truly care and love you, and they would all of a sudden guide you to the right direction. And like you just said this morning, your son hit you, but in your reaction was calm,
like very, very calm. And I was like, wow, is this me? Like, this is so weird. I'm usually like so reactive, but I just feel this calmness now in my heart. Like this, a different me, I feel like.
And that's how we do self-care. Because that's what you need, and that's what you're really lacking. And your body is aching towards that. And when our body aches, we bring in stress and anger. And when that happens, other outlets feels it and they don't understand. But then the thing is that, we always looking and want that feeling of love and comfort. And, it's just letting you know that there is, even though it's not, sometimes we look for comfort through physical things. Some people go and find comfort in drinking, smoking, partying, or comfort in reading the book, or going to church, or going to, meditation, or doing yoga. There's all different kind of comfort zones that we can seek ourselves, but we haven't tried it. And maybe this is a message to tell you to start to try, where I call it inner works, because the inner architecture of ourself needs to be cleaned and figured out. Because the more we figure out on why, that's when we get the moment of, okay, I shouldn't be doing things like this certain way. Maybe there is ways that I should change it. And like what you just did this morning, instead of outer reacting, you inner reacted, and you felt the calmness. And so that gives
and I feel like that message really helped me though too, because before I was so reactive, and I don't know if like it really did open up a door for me to be this way, but I just noticed like a snap of a change in me, and I'm like, is this really me? And it's just so crazy. And not just that, but like I feel more calm. Like I don't know, she's like iffy, like it's crazy. But I'm calm. So calm.
Doesn't it feel good?
Yeah, it does. It's like I talk a little bit more slower, not so like like as if I'm like on caffeine or something, because I do talk a lot faster, and then I'm speaking more, my mind going fast, but then I'm not pacing myself, or like, wait, is this your anxiety taking control of you, or is it like, you know, because I have that too, that issue, right? But no, like I just feel there's some sort of calmness right now.
Oh, that's so good.
Like, wow. Yeah, thank you, Monica. Like, I hope everything does work out with your bill pay, but I'm just more appreciative of how this came about. This is more than I could ever ask for on my end. You helped me in a way I could not ever imagine from anyone. So
no, I mean, you made my day as well too, because when, no, the thing is that when I can feel somebody doing it from the heart, that's when my heart chakra, like all of a sudden I feel it exactly. Like I open up the portal and accept that, oh, this person is really, you know, and then all of a sudden things start coming in, and I just want, you know, I don't know what it is, if it makes sense to you, and apparently it did. And that it gives me the confirmation that this balloon, like there's a whole bunch of balloons that's, you know, floating all around, but this balloon came here to give me that happiness, you know, to present it over to you, because it's just, you know, right now, especially during 2020, when I came back, I was like filled with anxiety, filled with information, and I just like, and everybody thought I was crazy. And I literally lost a lot of people thinking that, you know, and I'm like, it's okay. Maybe it was meant for me to get them out of my life. You know, and because they're only there not for the right reason. They're there for, I don't know, to just you know, sometimes they like to be evil. Sometimes people bring in that energy. And so that's what in Japanese, there's this thing called ashio hipparu, which means that people are sometimes there to pull your leg, to keep you off balance. And when that happens, that other things that we built into ourselves, which is anxiety and stress and, you know, depression and all that things, because that was never really, maybe it was there, but then it triggered to make it bigger. You know, they put fuel to the fire, and that way it makes us not happy, and we end up getting depressed, which makes us do other things that we really don't want. We know we shouldn't be grabbing for the extra fried chicken or that extra scoop of rice, or, you know, and then that's how our health and our wellness starts to just get off track. And so there's a, you know, it was so funny because in 2020, I started to do, because I always look at the moon energy and the flow of it, whether it's the new moon and the full moon, and we always receive it, you know, once every year. I mean, once every month. And I used to do this, you know, moon fest stuff. It's a session where I had like about a dozen people come over, and we have, you know, things, and we go over and I talk about these kind of stuff, and then I do reading for individuals, whichever messages that I get. And, you know, those are the things that I opened up for people to understand. But with COVID and things like that, it kind of, you know, stopped. And so I do private session, and I also do sessions where I help people identify themselves to get a better lifestyle. Like this one girl who was so mad at this guy that she was going out with, and I just said, I don't know what, but just look at his feet. And she's like, what? And I said, look at his feet. This is the guy that has clean feet, because something is telling me that this is the guy for you. Guess what? She ended up being with him. She's now traveling all over the world. He has his own plane, and he takes her all over to go, like, you know, places. Yeah. And she's like, wow, I could have lost my chance, you know, because I was so upset about him. And I said, because you weren't ready for him because you had your old you and the way you were thinking. And that's why you could have lost something that was really meant for you to be. And so this is really a time for you to really reflect this, this month. And in fact, the 7th, which is on Wednesday, it is the full moon that's coming up. And, the full moon is when you let go of things. And time to say goodbye, because sometimes we don't acknowledge it. We said, oh, okay, we kind of put it on the back burner. But if we write it down and let it go, it's like a contract to yourself and to the universe saying, okay, I got it. I'm going to let this feeling or let this problem go. It no longer serves me.
I love that.
And once you do that, guess what? Yourself opens up another slot. And then when the new moon comes in, that's when you put in you plant in the seed and you put in the new intention, because now they have a space to grow. Because you finally got rid of that weed that no longer serves you. It's dead, it's sitting there, and it doesn't do anything for you. And that was really the cleanup thing that happened to me in 2020, that, what no longer serves me, we thought this was my friend, we thought this was this, and we keep that circle of people around us, but then in the end, what do they do to you? They only tease you,
Yeah.
I mean, I get things that is so stupid, like hashtag beat Monica. Like, really? I mean, what did I do to you?
Wow.
Because they see me being successful. They don't like that. So they always look for something to, I guess, beat me in, whether it's beat me in walking or running or and I have no desire of beating anybody. I just go at my own pace. I just being me. But sometimes, that's what I'm saying, that sometimes these entity does these weird bad things. I mean, really evil things to you. Like, who would do that? I mean, that is just so immature and so stupid,
Yeah.
And like, I have people where they said, oh yeah, why don't you go and donate for this? And then I donate and I check, and then they take it out of the donation. Like, what happened? They're like, oh, I don't know why. Do you want to do it again? Because they want to be in control of what you have. And so you're going to see all of these, whether, it's little things that's so stupid, but it shows you where you're at in your life, that people will do something so stupid like that to irritate you. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
And so we all, whether that's are just some example of what I gone through, which I think it was really stupid. I mean, like, I have one of my client that I was working for refused to pay me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you refuse to pay me? Because I am a loser. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how I became a loser, but and then I just listen, and they're getting more irritated because they're actually talking about themselves. And so that's how you use this strength, which is the mirror reflection. And this is something that I feel that, everyone should use, is this mirror. When we wake up in the morning, say 3 things that reflects you. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's whatever, 3 words, like, I am lit, I am beautiful, I am love. And that's the energy will carry. That energy will carry in with you. And I had this one person, my client, who wakes up in the morning and says, I love you. 3 words. I love you. And I said, those are 3 beautiful words, because it's I, love is for, you know, the love, and you're passing on to everyone, whether it's a reflection of how you want to carry yourself that day. He literally kept on saying that to himself, and he weighed 240 pounds. He got down to 160 pounds.
Wow.
By using this technique of your inner architecture. And that's what I'm calling, and that's what I'm saying, is that use this inner architecture, because we can start to build the inside of us, the clarity, the balance. And it's really about meditating in that moment, just about us, that 3 words. And so try doing that. It might help you, you know, because because it's like word does reconfirm. And sometimes we just talk bad within us, and we don't even notice our inside and our gut is feeling that, you know, like, oh, I don't have any money. Oh, I don't have any love. Oh, I don't have any support. That's what you're creating, and you're building that block of that anxiety. And that's how anxiety and that's how stress builds up. But instead, why don't we say, you know what? I have so much confidence. I love myself. I know the universe is going to give me people that's going to help me bring in, and just meditate with a clear, conscious mind, because there's nothing else more disturbing than having thoughts and everything during meditation. People's like, how do you meditate? And I said, no, think of nothing. Just think of this. And that is the most hardest thing we could ever do. That is the most hardest yoga pose that you can ever think of in doing, is savasana, is a dead body pose where you don't think of nothing. And it took me a while to concentrate, to meditate, to do that, because when you do that, you get to hear other energy, just like what I heard about your grandmother. And anybody can do that. Everybody is born with that intuitive gift. It's how we use it and use that tool. And so, you know, since today is Meditation Monday, start using that tools to really self-work on yourself, because you know why? You deserve it. You worked this hard, and you finally got the aha moment yesterday.
Yes, I appreciate it again, Monica.
No. And it's just, this call will reconfirm that you're on a good path, Mary. You are on a good path. But your weakest point is self-doubt.
Yes.
That is your weakest point, is self-doubt. And that's the message that we need to work on. And there's nobody else is in control on that power of self-doubt, because you have an extraordinary, wonderful powerhouse. You haven't just been able to tap into it. And once you tap into it, the world is going to start to be your oyster.
Love that.
And really, I see that, because everyone is beautiful. Everyone has a gift. It's just, how do we find that Mikimoto pearl within us, right?
Yeah.
And what we have to do is we have to deep dive into ourselves, into our inner self, to find that. And now is the time to really change, because this is, you know, start writing down your list, because usually it's 3 days prior to the full moon where you work on writing down things that you're going to get rid of. You know, let go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Even though you hate that person, or you have this anger towards them, or you just can't forgive them. By letting go, you've done all of that. But you forgive, you opened up the space and you letting the new intention coming in, because it's not going to happen overnight. Let me tell you, it happens in the way you focus and the way you want to feel, because that feeling that you receive, it feels good. You know, you're like, wow, that's a new me. Yeah. It's like, wow, I didn't know I had this, because you're starting to create, and everybody needs that creation of life. And that's what really self-care is about. It's really diving deep inside yourself to create that self-care, because we are the architecture of ourselves.
We are.
So I hope this little messages helps you.
Thank you.
You know, and this year is a time to start putting in that key and starting turning in that ignition and be in control, because you're doing so well. I mean, like, in one day, look at you in one day, how much you change.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. You know, and anytime, anytime, Mary, if you need, you have my number, give me a call. And, you know, I've always, I love to support people, because, you know, that is my journey. That is my purpose, to give these messages. And I'm just one person that helps clarify what these little Lego pieces are. And you just need to use it to build that Lego, you know, architecture inside of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my dear.
It.
No problem.
Will you have a good will you have a good rest of your day, and hopefully all goes well. And like I said, if you have something that transaction reversing within 5 to 15 that, or any that can help you, I'm going to be a pleasure. Thank you again for message for your apple-cider engineering. Definitely can put into my daily lifestyle, and something that I've lacked. So definitely gonna work on it. Thank you again. You have a good day.
I will. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
You enjoy, and most of all, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Same to you. Take care, Mary. Aloha. Bye-bye.
Aloha.
Bye-bye. Well, that is a confirmation about how Meditation Monday can really work for everyone, because it gives us this feeling of love and joy and gratefulness. So you stay tuned for more information and how Cocojor can really help you. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and make an appointment with Cocojor to find out what kind of architecture of insight that I can give you to make you and guide you to a new journey. Stay tuned and sign up at cocojor.com, and aloha.